As part of Science Foundation Ireland's AI for Societal Good Challenge, a project at NUI Galway called Cailín AI is looking at the disease endometriosis. I met with advocate Kathleen King to find out more about this poorly understood condition.
Endometriosis is a very common condition. It affects 1 in 10 women, and it's characterised by quite severe pelvic pain. A lot of people associate it with maybe menstrual pain, period pain, but it's also very heavily associated with infertility. So it has a huge impact, not just on the women themselves, but also a greater societal impact.
1 in 10, that's such a huge number, and I'm just thinking of all my female friends and family. Is it hidden? Do women not talk about it?
It's not talked about, and this is seen in the figures worldwide, not just in Ireland, where women are waiting an average of 9 years for a diagnosis. So it's a combination of factors. Often we're not comfortable talking about menstruation, we're not comfortable talking about painful sex, we're not comfortable talking about infertility. We would like to see where this conversation is normalised and where we can talk about it the same as if we were talking about diabetes or any other chronic condition. But the symptoms are very real. So if I start talking about somebody who has been missing work or school due to quite severe pain, somebody who maybe passes out at the time of their period or mid-cycle, somebody who maybe is complaining of very severe pelvic, lower back, leg pain, we can nearly always identify somebody. We think, oh yeah, that's that friend who's been missing out on nights out. She had to miss her best friend's wedding, maybe things like that. So we nearly all would know somebody with endometriosis, but yes, it is quite a hidden disease.
Keen to incorporate feedback from those with endometriosis, Cailín AI enlisted the help of women like Katie, who has had the disease since her teens.
From the age of 15, I would have always been saying that there's something majorly wrong, that I'm way too unwell around the time of the month. Like, I'd be on the floor, I'd be buckled, my moods would change. You just didn't know what was going on. And I was told, oh, you maybe need to go to talk to somebody. It's all to do with stress, it's something that women all go through. You're just kind of making too much of a fuss. Or it was a very long time, so from 15 until 19 or 20, I couldn't find anyone to listen to me, and I was just putting myself down. By the time I turned 20, I had been on 6 different contraceptive pills. Each of them made me feel bonkers, and was only actually that I read an article in Cosmopolitan about all these different women who've been told all these different things, and similar to myself, like that you have stomach issues or that it's irritable bowel syndrome and stuff like that. Like, you were constantly gathering information to prove a point to a GP or to a doctor or consultant.
The severity of the symptoms can vary from person to person. Some people, may have very mild symptoms. It may only present when they undergo fertility investigations later in life. But for some, it's quite debilitating. This can be, 1 to 2 weeks out of education or the workplace every month. It can mean the loss of relationships, friendships, intimate relationships as well too. But I think the big thing, and it's not just in Ireland, it's worldwide, is that women aren't believed. They do present with their symptoms, they present to the medical community, and they feel that they're not being listened to.
Do we know why they're not believed?
Period pain tends to be accepted as being normal. If their friends and family are suffering very similar, they may not know that this is actually something to be concerned about. And perhaps sometimes when they present to their GP, they're not taken seriously, because women can be seen as maybe catastrophising their symptoms when in fact they're actually quite real. And this is where we need to change the whole narrative around endometriosis, and we need to reduce that diagnostic time down so that women get into the system for treatment and management a lot earlier.
I met with Cailín AI team lead Dr. Siobhan Kelleher to find out about the goals of the project.
With Cailín AI, what we're hoping to do is bring the diagnosis down from 9 years and multiple physician visits down to 3 months and just 1 physician visit.
That sounds like a game changer to me.
Absolutely. For those women that are going around in circles looking for an answer, it completely changes the treatment paradigm, and it allows the GPs to be able to make a decision and to start treatment for those women who they know they should start treatment with, be able maybe to discuss fertility options for some women, or to refer other women on to a specialist.
Can you tell me what it is? How does it work?
We're building a wearable device that a woman will wear on her abdomen for at least 30 minutes a day. And she'll also have an app. and she can input her symptoms in terms of her menstrual cycle, her pain, etc. We will gather data and we will compare that to a comparable data set, and our AI algorithm will allow us to be able to give a probability that this woman has endometriosis. So what the wearable is doing is it's measuring a physiological marker in the woman's body. This marker is altered in a woman with endometriosis. So when we compare her signal to a normal, healthy signal, we can see the difference, and comparing to the data set, we can give the GP a probability that this woman may have endometriosis. By having Cailín AI, it will allow those quality conversations to happen between the healthcare physician and between the woman who's looking for an answer. So it empowers the woman because she knows the symptoms she's feeling, but she can't always explain to the healthcare professional. And unfortunately, the disease is very individual. And for every woman, she'll experience different symptoms. So it is very difficult for that healthcare professional to diagnose endometriosis.
You're using AI to kind of take that intuition, that experience that a woman has, and it's actually bringing more computer power to back it up so that you can bring that to your physician and allow just a much more accurate decision to be made.
AI has the power to transform a disease like endometriosis, and that's because it's so individual. There's so many women with different symptoms, so you need that computing power to be able to understand all the data that are symptoms and signals that are coming from these women. So we're using machine learning to be able to look at these signals, look at their data, and to be able to give that information to the woman. So it's now practical. They can see, that's what I'm feeling, that's what I've been feeling, that's what I've been telling people, and here it is. You know, I can see it. And they can share that with their medical professional, with their GP, and that will back up the decision they'll both make. The woman with endometriosis knew there's been a problem, knew that there had to be an answer, and the GP had a hunch as well. This allows them to be able to get a probability on that hunch and be able to decide what steps should be taken next.
What difference do you think the Cailín AI tech will make to you and to women with endometriosis?
It would be massive, absolutely massive, life-changing, and it would save so many women, whether it's in terms of getting answers and knowing how they can get on top of their symptoms quicker, whether it's knowing what plans they can put in place for having kids, having the life that they want, even if they don't want kids, how they can be themselves. Like it's life-changing. It really is life-changing.